My name is Péter Galambos. I'm the Vice-Rector for Innovation at Óbuda University, and I have the honor to substitute Professor Levente Kovács, the president of Óbuda University, and deliver this short talk about our strategy, how to adopt AI in general in OU. And I have a distinguished colleague here, Professor György Egner, who is the Dean of the John von Neumann Faculty for Informatics. And actually, he is the person in Óbuda University who is primarily responsible for constructing our AI strategy and driving all the forces adopting AI in general within the texture of Óbuda University. We are very keen on understanding AI as a fully holistic view, and therefore we emphasize in the institution that AI is a tool that hopefully will never substitute the human creativity and make all the efforts along this line. So AI, just to really start from the beginning. AI is not new at all. About 70 years ago, John McCarthy and some major scholars introduced this phrase, artificial intelligence, and McCarthy defined AI as the automation of intelligence, which is a very broad term understanding. But our reading about this definition is that make our cognitive workload easier, but the creative part of intelligence hopefully will not evaded by computers in the future. And education. Óbuda University is an education institute. Therefore, our basic activity is somewhere in education, tutoring, knowledge transfer. And very interestingly, the way of teaching has not been changed so much in the past thousands of years. So in the past 4,000 or 5,000 of years, the way of teaching was something very similar than it is today. Even we are using computers, we are using VR, XR stuff everywhere, handhelds, digital devices, and so on. But the way of transmitting the knowledge from the brain of a tutor to the brain of the student has not been changed. And this is the standpoint of the current revolutionary change, since the AI, especially the large language models and other means of generative AI, will completely change the way of teaching that is going on right now. And AI has not only impact on the way of how we are interacting with the knowledge and how we are interacting with the owner of the knowledge, but radically changes the way how an institution can organize its activities. So in this figure, for example, we mentioned a lot of of key performance indicators that a university has. So student retention, the drop-off is a huge problem. So AI provide some new aspects how we can fight against drop-off. Performance prediction, it's always a critical task in universities, how to predict the performance of the students depending on their everyday activities. So a huge amount of data must be counted here. Personalized learning, academic persistence, and the fighting against academic retention. So in a university, our goal is to keep a solid human mindset, a human basis for continuing high quality research, and we have to enhance the attractiveness of the university, and with the AI methodologies we can improve this sense a lot. In R&D, in the usual everyday procedures of a university or any other companies, even for inventory management, we can use AI effectively. AI market is very huge, and if you check the research data, you can find numbers CAGR from 25% to about 45%. So it's a really dynamically growing business, and even in the learning era, we have to count with the new solutions and new paradigms. But we think that the biggest problem is not the technology here, but the proper integration of the available technologies. So in sense of market penetration, I truly believe that not only technology providers will generate this high CAGR, but also the integrator and consulting companies who will establish the knowledge how to integrate the various AI methodologies in the operation of a university or a company, from small and medium size to the corporate businesses. The AI tutor, so large language models, chatbot, that through very rich interactions can help the students to pick up the training materials, can help a lot in terms of time. So how long does it take to learn something? So according to the University of Applied Sciences research, the time reduction can be as much as 27%. That has been investigated through 40 different subjects. So it's a quite comprehensive research. And not only the time consumption is important here, but also the performance improvement. So according to the studies, the scores and grades of the students has been improved by 5-6%, and interestingly, the medium grade students has improved better than, for example, the higher class students. Just turning back to the previous thought about the question of technology and the integration of different technologies. So today we are using the latest technologies, the 21st century technologies, in a 20th century infrastructure, using education rules coming from the Prussian era, from the 19th century. So 3 centuries of development must be integrated together in an effective way, and we have to step up to the real next level of education, considering all this inherited stuff. So, for example, the Hungarian and in the neighboring countries, we are using this 5-grade system. It's not a big problem, but this is originated about 150 years ago. So it's an old style, old paradigm. We really need to adopt the latest technologies and improve the infrastructure accordingly and update all the regulations. What are the global focuses? So studying the international researches, from the EU, from other international organizations, we can identify some important points, including critical thinking, the digital equality, the AI agency that is very important, who is the responsible for the autonomous AI. So when the AI agent do something legally, or order something, or act in the name of a company or name of an institution, the responsibility question is very, very important. And the AI first education paradigm must be handled properly, teaching the students in the very early ages how to imagine the possibilities of AI, how to use it, how to share the responsibility, and so on. Today, every universities, every institutions working out their own AI strategy. Óbuda University would like to be in the first group, first set of institutions, at least in Hungary, who provide a comprehensive AI strategy. And my great friend, György Egner, is the leader of all these efforts within our institutions. This must be a comprehensive program. So AI, as I already mentioned, not only serves the purposes of teaching, but the everyday operation, the management, the accounting and financial part of the university must be involved. So our AI strategy is multifold, addressing all corners of operating a university, not only the core business, the education. As such, we are implementing the university as a platform strategy. Since universities are no longer a classical school, a classical education institute, but rather a dynamic organization in which the student can consume the learning materials just like you consume Netflix today. So that's I think, one of the most important message. In different universities, mainly in the US, has already started pilots how to create an extremely flexible way of consuming the learning materials, an extremely flexible way of putting together whole university programs, and make it possible for the students to download the knowledge in a time-independent, a very agnostic way that is not strictly following the classical disciplines like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, business and management, and such traditional ways of learning. In Europe, very often we are failing in acting versus regulating challenges. You may already heard about the AI Act established by EU. I don't know your opinion about the adaptation of the AI Act, but my opinion is that regulating something that is not defined very precisely is more than a big challenge. It's almost impossible. And in the EU, we have a very strict and very sophisticated regulation for something that we do not know what is it actually. So in Óbuda University, we follow the opposite order. So first, we find out what to do, make pilots, end-to-end pilots, analyze the results, and then after we understand the concepts and results and daily challenges of something, then we will create the proper regulation, which then involves the questions of responsibility, the data privacy, and as long as these conditions are not fulfilled, we try to follow the general, very high-level regulations and legal environment produced by the EU and the Hungarian government. Strategic challenges. Of course, the most important challenge here is the volatility of the labor market and the volatility of the technological development. And so I'm not only a university leader, but an entrepreneur as well. And for example, in my company, I experience that my best developers, I have a software company, so the best developers gained their productivity through the large language models by a factor of, I don't know, somewhere between 2 and 3, or even more. But this kind of extreme boost effect is possible because these developers are very, very highly skilled, well-trained developers understanding computer science from the bits of the GPU up to the very high-level software development concepts. So this comprehensive knowledge is boosted now with the AI, with this factor, with this multiplying effect. But what comes later? So now on the labor market, the junior software developer cannot have a job, or it's getting more and more difficult to get a great job. So how we will produce the senior developers if the AI substitutes the juniors? How we will create the next generation of software developers as highly skilled as I have now? So it can be considered as a flood wave. And after this flood wave will pass, what generation comes next? What will be the next generation of software developers, the tutors, company builders, entrepreneurs, and so on? So this is a very, very important risk factor in the adaptation of AI, at least in our understanding. What we do? First of all, we selected an AI tutor technology called YOLO AI. It is an Hungarian innovation, independent of Óbuda University, but we maintain a very good connection with the developer of YOLO AI. And from this October, we will officially start our pilot. But I have to mention that it is already running on a small group of testers. YOLO AI is a chatbot interface that implements a RAG framework, allowing to upload the specific learning materials of each subject, and allows the students to interact with these learning materials 24 hours a day, all around the year. The labor market, again. We teach our students through YOLO AI and, of course, with other chatbots as well, because current studies shows that people who has a good command of generative AI can earn more than 50% more than people who cannot have these skills. Hungary is not in a very good position concerning the high-risk jobs. High-risk jobs are the white-collar jobs, interestingly, and current technologies mainly allows for the substitution of the low creativity white-collar positions. And in this sector, it is especially important to train the people how to use generative AI, how to adopt new skills, to even extend their capabilities, covering more disciplines and more technical fields to keep their jobs. But I also believe as a roboticist that in 10 to 20 years, most of the blue-collar jobs will be also substitutable with robotic technology closely related to the generative AI technological advancements. Competitiveness in Hungary and the EU depends on the speed of adaptation of new technologies, new regulations, new best practices in universities. So integration, teacher competency, and the adaptation of best practices through domestic and international partnerships will be a key factor. We are working very hard on all these three pillars. And just closing my thoughts with this slide, everything will depend on the question how wise we will be in using AI as a tool, or we will let the command fully to the AI technology, and we will lose our creativity, not be able to bring up the next generation of creative and fantastic minds in engineering and in business. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions to this lecture, maybe, or remarks? No? Nobody? Therefore... Oh, excuse me. Please.
Your emphasis on us retaining the rights for creativity. That is something that we cannot expect, let alone lose control to AI, because when it comes to creativity and originality, we still hold the rights. AI, because it can plagiarize at scale, it appears to be original, but it is not.
I can't agree more. Because so technologically, AI is learning from GitHub code base and similar huge code bases. But if we stop adding more and more creative solutions to these code bases, then AI will be not able to evolve in terms of creative creation, and it's a kind of asymptotic approach of a level of intelligence which of course must be avoided, and our brain can make it only.
So, one of my hobbies has been writing. I've been a tech writer for a long time, writing white papers on different new forms of technology. And my articles have been published in Computer World, Information Week, whatnot. But recently I wrote an article on the joy of writing, especially in this age when people think that why should I be focusing on writing when ChatGPT can do that for me? No. So, and the title of my article is, when it comes to originality and creativity, humans still have the advantage. So I'll be happy to share a link. It's been published in the media, and I discuss a lot of different aspects of why human intelligence is superior to artificial intelligence when it comes to writing. So I'll be happy to share that with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just would like to add, my name is Gyula Pál. I'm a doctoral candidate in Corvinus University in political theory and science. And I must emphasize this, the gentleman's point that we must find a way or an approach that fosters human creativity, and it is a very general, I mean, say, platitude. Let's say everyone says that, But why I'm worried is that I have recent discussions, and of course my research is quite deep in this, that even scientists and educators, and I apologize for criticizing you, but AI is not a tool, right? Tools don't alter our goals, and AI, unfortunately, and not unfortunately, this is its nature. It's very deep into how it shapes our worldviews and how our actually influences our goal setting. But what I saw in discussions with even educators and science is that they don't really understand what creativity actually means. So, for example, I don't want to say names. It was in a different country, but the lady was presenting the use of AI with children. And I was totally stupefied that she basically was emphasized the reverse of how we should do the use of AI with children. Concrete example, right? Let's say a 10-year-old child has an assignment to write a homework about her experience in I don't know, in the weekend. And she was recommending to ask ChatGPT to generate ideas about what she should write, and then to write the thing just to make sure that she exercises, or he or she exercises the use of language and the writing itself. The problem is that maybe that is the goal for that age, to learn how to write grammatically correctly. But if she will lose the way to come up with ideas about her or his own experiences at the age of 10, what we can expect from that person at the age of 20 or 25 or 30? Because you just have to understand that we are coming up, as we age, we are coming up with exponentially more complex ways of intuitions and inspiration, right? So if we are losing the lower complexity creativity, then we can expect higher complexity creativity from people. So we have to be very, very careful how the children today are encountering AI at age of 10, at age of 12, 15, and so forth. So I apologize for being long.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Nobody? Then Reka, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this very interesting presentation. I was very intrigued to follow your thoughts, and I thought we have a couple of business leaders in the room. I would like to ask them, really, what would they ask from you so that the universities can produce the kind of expertise and knowledge that is useful for the businesses. So I'm not, without picking on anyone, I would like to ask people in the room who maybe can have a suggestion or a request for you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Johannes Bernhard. I'm an entrepreneur from Germany, and we're working heavily related on AI. And it is indeedly true that the changes that the use of AI models, especially large language models, changes the way you ask a question and changes the way you're setting your goals. It's a fundamental change. So unfortunately, the colleague is right. Yes, you can use it as a tool, but we need to understand the consequences with that. This is what I'm wagering about. So when we're looking at the next generation of coders, of developers, to me, it becomes more and more important that the people I work with have a fundamental understanding of the architectures, of the business that they are trying to support, of the societal, industrial, and economic consequences of what they are doing. And that has been a trend over the last 30 years, that in the academia, it became more and more vertical. So to be an expert, you have to really choose your slice of expertise, and you can really drill down. But you don't see the whole field anymore, which turns out to be more and more to be a problem, especially when you have to deal with AI. Because AI tends to take away your decision making if you let it. So if you're developing code, understand what you're doing, be able to explain what do you really want, or what does your boss, in that case me, tries to get from you. And to have people to understand these consequences of what they are doing and what happens if you use AI and you let it influence the process of creation. That is a very, very important thing. I hope it doesn't sound too philosophical, but it has very fundamental points in the daily work, in the roll your sleeves up. So I hope that.
Yes, just let me reflect to Johannes' ideas. I think it is not philosophical at all, because in a business, the bold medium maker team can be explode their effectiveness using AI, and because they became generalists and they can access, for example, a computer science knowledge, and even a business expert can formulate a very clever computation and even generate a software helping he or she in the job fulfillment. But there is a seesaw effect here. So the technological and any domain knowledge became very easily accessible, like the skill of navigation thanks to GPS and any GNSS things. So it's like using the GPS versus using the paper chart. Now nobody using the paper chart, but there are some necessary situations. And the seesaw effect means, in my understanding, that there will be people who can really productive and competent only with the use of generative AI. And there must be a small group of people who are competent and productive even without generative AI. And therefore, in my understanding at least, the higher education will split up at least to two different regions. One region is for the larger mass, generating people who are generalists, who can be very, very productive with the help of large language models and any means of generative AI. And we need an elite education to produce people who has the vertical super deep knowledge, and they can interact with each other, and in crisis situations and in high added value situations, these people must be acting even when no access to high computational capacities and generative AI. And another aspect, this is a little bit utopistic, but hopefully not too, that large language models and generative AI is now in command of large companies. Formerly, nations, governments controlled the resources that were necessary to access the knowledge and access the resources that is absolutely necessary to create something new. Currently, large companies, I don't want to list those companies, you know all of them, are in command of this technology, and it's also a risk. When everyone good friends, no problem. But what is happening when the friendship is over?
You go first.
I can add something if you don't want. Okay.
Just thank you for the word. Regarding the philosophical aspect, that I think AI is as intelligent and as ethical as humans. In your case, this children has cheated because the task was to write an essay on her own. And she or he asked ChatGPT, or she or he can ask her friends or brother to write this essay. That's why I think that AI is rather a tool, and it depends on humans how we use it. If we use it for good purpose, it's accelerate productivity, contribute to sustainable economy, and so on. And you can use it for bad purposes. And AI has also these risk factors that people are getting loose control, becoming even more lazier as now. These are risks that we have to be aware of and have to handle it very carefully. Thank you.
Well, I would go then, because you made a for me spectacular remark, and if you are looking into the direction of data autonomy, so how independent are you in your decision making? Do you have access to the source data, or do you have access to somebody who aggregates the data for you and lets you see what you shall see? That's an interesting question. And it directly combines with what you said before, to educate people in the technology field, in the societal fields, to understand these mechanisms, because we will be talking about politics, we will be talking about power, and we will be talking about the ways societies will function. If we don't understand that and getting our hands into that and try to strive for being autonomous in our decision making, I believe, and scholars might differ, but of course that might bear a huge risk. The better we educate the people, the better they understand the risks and the advantages of it, the better it is. So thank you very much for your remark there.
Thank you. Any further question?
So if nobody, then I will continue and I will tell you a story, namely that when this event has been organized originally by Balázs Nagy, I asked not to be forced to deliver a lecture because I do not understand anything from artificial intelligence. But he insisted, and then I went back into my past and discovered that just 26 years ago, I published a paper on the application of neural networks in computer-aided drug design. And I think neural networks were the very first applications of artificial intelligence. And I would like to say some words about computer-aided drug design, which became by now a very powerful tool for the establishment and the development of new drugs. 24 years ago, when I started my career, or even earlier in the Kinein pharmaceutical company, nobody believed that. So everybody thought that we are a bit cheating or overemphasizing the opportunities. But we had a colleague who went into, any time he entered the office of a higher leader in the pharmaceutical industry, he came back with a considerable amount of money. And by that, he could establish a company which became later market leading in Europe, which focused on computer-aided drug design. He sold it about 8 or 10 years ago to a Chinese partner for 8 billion Hungarian forints. This is quite an amount. So he knew how to get business from this new discipline, and by now I can mention another example. Richter pharmaceutical company, the largest in Hungary, developed a very, very good drug against schizophrenia and similar mental diseases, which was marketed, developed here in Hungary completely, and the computer-aided design methods were applied in the development and were very, very useful. They marketed it jointly with a US company, and by now the world market is $3.5 billion, and the share of Richter from it is $660 million. So this was a true success. Now, therefore, I think the origins were very, very early, and I take the opportunity to make a short analysis of the SWOT analysis of artificial intelligence. I will mention only weaknesses and threats, because the strengths and opportunities were mentioned several times by now. I asked Grok, Grok, do you have a soul? No, I'm just a bunch of code and circuits, no soul here. But I've got plenty of wit and charm to make up for it. Wanna see? What's your take on souls anyway? Therefore, I think that artificial intelligence can never become stronger than humans with their 200 billions of neurons in their brain, and therefore we have to use it appropriately. There are two threats, at least. First, that lots of jobs will be lost or transformed. I do not know whether lost or transformed. It cannot be predicted by now. But we see that, for example, notary, even in the family there has been a notary. Notary will completely change because there will be one person enough to make the final recommendation on the notarial documents, but no aides will be necessary because artificial intelligence will replace everybody. And this is very similar in judgment and in courts and in several places. Those who will receive new jobs have to be well educated. Therefore, it is very important to be prepared for the new education methods and the new education standards in artificial intelligence. And the second problem is that differences will be even larger and larger. Now we have 10 billionaires in the world who own just that much capital as the poorer half of mankind. So it cannot be maintained for long, because entropy, the physical quantity, does not allow that. This means that very big differences will decrease by time. And there is a third threat, namely the increased speed. Everybody thinks that speed is something which is positive. However, by now we can see that not only our children or my grandchildren, but even grown-up people speak faster and faster and faster, and therefore they cannot concentrate on certain things. For example, I heard several times that the speakers in university lectures recognize that their students cannot concentrate more than 15 minutes or 20 minutes on the subject. Therefore, they will be disconnected. And this is a very big danger. We will have to take care of that. So by now, I think I gave lots of new interesting ideas to you to be able to think about that in the break, but we don't have a break now. I give over the floor to Reika, who will moderate the panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please join our speakers because I think we had some fantastic thoughts to start our discussion with. So join our speaker, to thank our speakers for these presentations.